It's February 5, and we had a leak. So you can plumb with
Can I solder with water in the line? Is that the question?
Yep.
The answer is no. You cannot solder with water in the line. Or should I say, you cannot solder with water in the area you're going to be heating up. These things are still in my way. As you can see here, the pipe is very bulged here, and it's been dripping. I'm going to have to take out the bulge in order to fit in a piece of pipe, the couplings, so they'll slide over it. Usually what you'll find is that the fins keep the pipe, add some strength so that the pipe's the right diameter. So I got to pull some fins off so I can put a coupling here. It looks like I don't know if I can get it unsoldered here. I might have to take out some fins and come out to here as well. So to get the fins off, we're just going to kind of tear them apart. Now, one of the things is the edges of these fins are quite sharp. They'll cut you very easily.
You mean the top and bottom?
The top and bottom, not the rounded areas, the cut edges of the fins. In the tote behind you, the plastic tote in the front left, there are some 3/4 inch couplings, front left, that's front right. Okay, this is a coupling here, and
I don't know if you're in the shot.
this is a coupling here. It's just two pieces of metal, and it has a punch or a ridge. This is a regular coupling. We might have some slip couplings, which we might want as well. They would have no dimple or no ridge so that it can slide. These will slide onto a piece of pipe that's not corroded.
Is it working?
Yeah, so they'll slide right in there. This one's a little dinged up. It'll work. And if that bump only allows it to slide part way, whereas a slip coupling is going to be able to slide all the way up the pipe, and you've got to slide it back to be centered. This is actually going to be a very tricky one with water in the line. One of the tricks is Wonder Bread, but I don't think we have any.
I do have some French bread I made. Sort of the same.
Sort of the same, but
Sort of.
not as bad as Wonder Bread.
Not as bad? Not as good?
Not as effective. No, not as effective. Okay, so in the metal tote next to the plastic, there should be some pipe cutters, and I'm looking for the mini pipe cutters. Those are, yep, those will possibly work. Those are my large minis. I have smaller ones. Let's see if you which I can might find them. Need, but these are the ones I'm going to try first. So I'm going to come back over here, and yeah, those are smaller. So I'm trying to cut this right where the bulge starts, and I might have to use a hacksaw or something, because one side's up on the hump here and one side's not. The cutters are sitting at an angle. We're going to see if we can't do it with this. Now what you'll find is that these heat fin sections of pipe are very thin-walled to help. I don't know if it's to help with the heat transfer, to reduce the cost, or what, but the fins they put on them help add the strength, which you can see why it didn't bulge there. So the pipe itself is not very thick.
I'm thinking water's going to come out when you finish. Or even before.
Now we got some water. This could be fun. Let's see, I've got a split in my container over on this side. So do we have a container I could dump this water into?
Yeah, I do.
I was doing okay until I got a nice split down the container there. Here comes some more water. You can go up there over the door, and that valve that's close to me, you can turn off. No, that's it. It goes to 90, right? You might need a ladder.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, it looks like about right.
Do you miss new construction?
I don't know. They all have their... Now, one of the reasons we have to get the water out is twofold. The one is, with water in there, you can't get the pipe up to the temperature needed to melt the solder. So then you end up getting it to, the water has to be over, has to be steam basically. But once the water turns to steam, it expands so much, it just pushes all the solder out of the joint. So you need to get the water away from the area.
Yeah, that wasn't really a 90. In fact, it acted...
It should like almost pop at the very end.
It should pop. Let me try this again. I feel like you should be done. It's only like a 10-foot run. I'm going to turn it on for a second.
Yep. Okay, then guess what you get to go do now?
I don't know.
You get to go empty a bucket.
Yeah, I think you should check that. I don't think it's closing.
Okay, go ahead and empty this bucket.
Yep. How many are you going to do?
Maybe one more. We'll see what that looks like for space. Okay, so again, we want to cut this back where our fins ended, because that's where you can start to almost see how the pipe's getting bigger. And hopefully the pipe will be that small enough size there to do what we're looking to do.
Is there a shut-off valve for this side?
No.
Okay.
But that side went up, and it goes this long horizontal all the way down the house. This side goes up, goes over, and goes back down.
Mm.
And I'm not hearing glug, 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 glug out of it, so that's helpful.
Is that an official term? Glug,
Yes,
glug,
glug, glug, glug, glug, glug is the first term you learn in plumbing. When I came and started plumbing, the first thing the plumber said is, beware of the glug, 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 glug.
Did he really?
Sometimes the other sound is the and especially when you're working on like, the drain pipe.
Do that again.
I can't really like describe the sound. It's kind of like a and it's kind of distant in the pipe. So when you're working on a drain line that's active and live, basically, you know, in a house or something, because we'd be in these apartment buildings and didn't have anything shut down, and he was working on the main sewer line. And so you'd hear that, and he'd just grab the 5-gallon bucket, hold it over the end, and boom, there came the toilet.
Oh, that's disgusting.
And then you wait for it to stop, and you keep going. And then she wonders why I got out of plumbing. You know?
This is the story you decide to share?
It's kind of like the glug, 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 glug. Because even though you shut the water off to the unit, without getting into each one, dang it, that really gouged it. Oh my goodness, I'm so disappointed. We already destroyed our floor. Anyways, even though you shut the water off to each unit, there's water in the tank. So unless you got into each apartment and shut them down, which meant that there's a flush in every toilet, you know? So you'd hear it in the pipe, you could hear the flush, and you'd just be prepared.
Gordon's like that dog. What was that movie where they're like, squirrel, whatever. So when we move the desk, we scratch the new floor.
We destroyed our brand new floor.
I'm going to see if it comes out.
Oh, maybe it's not a scratch. Maybe it's dirt on it. I don't know.
I'm hoping. Yeah, that looks like maybe
But
that.
it could be wet fingers, and how wet makes scratch look gone. We'll see when it dries again. All right, so now I've cleaned things back a little. Hopefully these couplings will go on, and I think once I clean the pipe, they will. It's a little tight there. We're going to fight with
How do you clean the pipe?
So now I need some of the cleaning, sanding, emery cloth type stuff.
And
Yes,
it's
that's the
brown?
stuff in your right. Yeah, both of those.
Well, this one looks used.
That's okay.
These pipes?
These pipes here, the heat lines.
Those pipes?
They tend to have, when they put the metal on them, the fins over them, I don't know if they use an oil, but they always seem like they have a little bit of oil stuff. But besides that, we need to get them clean. Even if it wasn't oil, we still need to get any tarnish and dirt and oils off of them. And so we're going to sand them. You can use an emery cloth or a fine sandpaper.
Those green
Steel
scrubbies?
wool. Some people use steel wool. Well, maybe. But this is just the pipe cleaning. You can get it at your hardware store or plumbing supply. It's not, 100%. I might have to do a little more.
It's cleaner than this.
But you can see some of the dark spots on that. And
okay, hang on. Incoming.
From different dimples and that. And I might have to do a little more, because really what I'm looking at on the back side here is, and I don't know if it's showing, I'm looking for lines of just all looking shiny. I don't want to see the dark tarnish, especially something that's going to connect from out here where the coupling will end to inside, because that could form a little channel where the solder doesn't take and the water can find its way out.
Oh,
yeah,
that's important to know. So will you cut that part off that's tarnished, or you're just going to keep trying to get it clean?
Clean it a little bit more. You know, but if you have a line of area where you get solder all the way around the circumference of the pipe, then you won't have that ability for it to come through, and you'll have enough places of solder in various areas to hold the pipes together. Because it's doing two things. It's keeping the water from leaking past, but it's also, as the pipes, as the pressure builds, it's holding the pipes so they don't blow apart. You can actually sometimes just get a little ring of solder and it seems to hold, but then the pressure builds and it can pop apart.
Yeah, still coming out. Can you go check that? I really feel like it's getting past it. I wonder if the valve went bad. Is that the gurgle you speak of?
This is, but notice how much faster this is than the earlier gurgle?
Yeah.
And now it's seeming to stop. That's good.
Does that mean it's ending?
Potentially.
This was not what I had in mind of working on. Just kind of look and see what this one did. Now it's dry. The floor held up very nicely. There was just a giant puddle when we came down. Of course, you know, it all happens when you're trying to get out to church.
So, do I have a rag in that metal tote? Okay.
How old is that rag?
Not that old.
Okay.
They do get thrown out from time to time and replaced.
See, you didn't wait for me to cut that one. It's an entire t-shirt. Do you see this? It's an entire t-shirt.
That's what I wanted. I wanted one that size.
Oh.
Okay, so I need... what do I need? What do I need? I need the brush for cleaning the inside of these. Oh, here it is. I need the flux and the solder. The flux is in the plastic bag.
Ugh. That's disgusting.
Oh, it's nasty stuff. I don't need the pipe.
Oh, I thought it came with it. And you want solder? I think this might be solder.
That is solder.
You want, okay.
Now on heating systems, they don't require lead-free because it's, but I don't even know if you can find leaded solder. I just get the lead-free and use the lead-free. Till they find out that there's something else wrong with the lead-free and this is all causing us who knows what.
Probably word finding issues.
Probably. What word was that? Word finding? Isn't there like a word for that?
Yeah.
So just like the outside of the pipe, we need to clean the inside of these to get any grit and grime off. And so they make these nice little brushes, wire brushes, and you can clean them. This is the only one I can find. It also supposedly has one to do the outside of the pipe, but I mean, how are you supposed to get that in on most of the things?
What do you mean? Oh, the holes in the handle?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I just was looking for, this is what they had at the box hardware store I was at.
Well, it'll work if it's not installed.
Yeah, which is, well, we do have to get a piece here, so, oops, there comes some water. Yeah, maybe that valve is not holding tight. That's okay. Right here is some short pieces of pipe. We need a piece of pipe that's going to fit between there and there, right?
Mm-hmm.
I could measure with a tape measure and all that fun stuff, but we'll just kind of cut it like this, right about there, I'd say, right? Looks about right. Now, you had gotten me the large cutters. I like this style cutter. Now, a lot of times you'll get the cheap ones and you have to like twist and twist and twist and twist to unload it. This has a nice quick release where you just...
Oh, that's
and
very
then you can
nice.
go up against it. So you'll spend a lot more, but if you're going to be doing a lot of plumbing work...
So how come when I'm on cutting duty you didn't show me that?
Because you're like, I got it. I got it. I got it.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to be shown how to do it.
That would have been so much nicer. All right, noted.
Okay, and you can slowly twist. The mini cutters do not have, I don't have mini cutters. I don't know if they make mini cutters that have that feature.
Well, then what were those things I got?
Those
Those aren't mini cutters?
Those are mini cutters, but they don't have a quick thumb release.
Well, definitely less distance to travel. Look at that.
Now, this
But
is...
I just pushed on the button.
See, this is what it's meant for, but I'd rather just use the cloth because, you know,
I don't know. It sounds like it's doing a really good job.
okay, so I gotta get it down that end, which is why I brought
you
my
shouldn't
pliers.
touch it after?
Yeah, you don't want to get oils on it, which is why I brought my pliers. And then I can just hold the pipe. I can kind of see what I'm doing as I'm doing it. And I don't know, I just find that easier. Either one can work. So now we've cleaned all of our ends of our pipes. We cleaned inside. Now I'm going to take the flux. Here's the flux. And
Is flux an acronym?
Maybe. I've always known it as flux. And I've never found a good way to store this stuff. I think I need to actually replace this and get some other ones.
You think?
But now that I'm looking, it's getting worse and worse because I don't use it that much. I probably shouldn't leave these things in here because they're getting really corroded.
Okay, right now, your master plumber is going, oh my word.
Don't watch this.
Don't watch this, Pat. Just walk away.
And we're gonna just
Oh, is it okay to get flux on the fins?
I hope so. Oh man,
That is disgusting.
Now we got some flux here.
What should it look like?
No, it looks.
Oh,
It always
back.
looks kind of dark. Okay, so we're just gonna put it in there. And I get pretty liberal with this stuff. I know some people are like, well, you know, it's gonna corrosive to the pipes. It's gonna cause all sorts of corrosion issues, which there's some truth to that. But
What? The flux causes corrosion?
yeah.
Then why are you using it?
Because it's what enables the solder to flow to where it needs to go.
So what would you otherwise use?
You would use flux.
Okay.
We want to get it all the way around, because if there's a section of the pipe that doesn't have flux on it, the solder is likely to not flow there, and then that's a bad thing. Okay, so we've got flux in all of those.
So you're not really looking for a line of solder. You're looking for a skimming of solder.
I'm looking to fill the entire joint with solder. Now we're going to do another thing before we go any further here. We're going to give a place for the steam, because I'm expecting to get steam to expand that's other than here. There's multiple different ways we can do that. Let me show you that now. Okay. So we have a bleeder valve here on the line, and I'm going to open the bleeder valve up to give the steam somewhere to go.
All right.
And why they put these, actually, although they're bleeders, they're also kind of a drain line valve,
Okay.
because you don't really want the bleeder at the bottom. You want it at the top, because you're trying to get air out. So the fact they put them on the bottom, it's like, well, you can't really use that to bleed air. The air rises. Okay, so that's going to hopefully allow the steam an easy way to go out that hole over there. The other option is, if that doesn't work, is we can solder something like this in to the line instead of the short piece of pipe. We could use this. We'd keep the cap off. Then all the steam and everything can boil right out, and then we put the plug in. Hopefully I don't have to, because this is 10 times more expensive.
A lot of moaning and groaning crawling over that.
Work to get in here. Okay. So I've got them fluxed. I've got a spot for it to drain to. We still want to get out as much water as we can just before we go. So we want to make sure we get everything to go. Then we're going to drain again, and then we're going to assemble and try to solder as quick as possible. So I'm going to get my torch piece up and over here.
So how long is a flux good for? Like before you're like, oh, I should flux again.
It would be good if I fluxed and didn't solder for a few hours. It'd be fine. Okay, I need a striker. Is there a striker in that box, that metal tote?
Yes, I think I saw one.
Yeah. And there might be a little black piece of metal about this long with a hole on each end of it. Very skinny and narrow, about a half-inch wide, quarter-inch wide to a half-inch wide. So about 3/8 inches.
You mean the wrench?
Yeah.
I could have said the wrench.
I didn't know you knew what it was. It's a little wrench.
I'm like, what?
Okay, so I always keep my tank shut off. It's a safe thing to do, I guess.
You guess?
I guess. So
We just always do. Ooh, it's hissing a little.
I know.
That's unusual.
I smell a
Gauge
little.
looks good.
I know I smell a little. I really should probably get this replaced.
I don't like this new tank you got.
No, I should probably replace it. It's kind of beat up.
Yeah, your old tank was great. This thing's kind of a piece of crap.
Make it stop pissing, right?
Yes. Yeah, and the valve never, or the gauge never
We're
really
gonna find
moved.
out if we go
I'll
boom.
watch.
No, if we go boom. Okay, so I've purged the air out of the line. I like to place my solder in a certain fashion. I uncurl about this much solder, and I put a little hook on them. It helps me get in behind on the backside when it comes time to it. The rule of thumb, I was told that how much solder we want to use is about the same as the diameter of the pipe. This is 3/4 of an inch of pipe, so you'd want to use about 3/4 of an inch of solder. I tend to use a little extra. I'd rather get too much and let it drip off and clean it up just to make sure I got enough in there. But that's what I was taught. That one looking pretty dry. That's what I want to see. This one I expect will have quite a bit of water in it. what I'm actually going to do with this is, because this one's staying dry as it is, I'm going to assemble these on this side. I didn't flux this piece. Look at that. That'd be a problem.
Shame.
Yep. I'm going to flux my little piece of pipe here. And now I will put a coupling. Oh, that's a slip coupling. You see how that one goes however far it wants?
You want a different one?
No. We can use that. It might be helpful to us.
Sorry.
It might be helpful to us. Get that piece of bristle off of there. Okay. Okay, so that one's down all the way. Now this will be the challenge, is that I've got to get this onto this pipe here. There we go. So that's on all the way there. So there's two ways I could do this, and I think I will. I'll solder up this end here first, and then I just have to deal with the single solder joint, which leaves less time for water to collect.
Mm-hmm.
But it will make it a little harder because all this will be hot, so that's all right. Now see, like when it comes down like this, water could come out. So what I'll do to help prevent that is I will take something like this here. I'll set it up over here. And now I'm higher, so any water in there should flow away. The tricks is that you're going to watch for a color change on the copper when it's heating it up, and that tells you that it's hot enough to melt the solder. Other ways you can also kind of test it. I'm starting to see that color change right there. And whoop, in it goes. I'll add a little heat on the top to make sure it sucks it in because it gets drawn towards the heat. And now I'll wipe my joint while it's still warm and try not to splash myself with the hot solder. That's the professional, is to get your joints wiped. I'm having a hard time on that one, but...
Oh, there's that smell, I remember.
Yep, the smell of flux. And now we're going to kind of cool this end down here, because I got to work with it a little bit. Hopefully I didn't burn this flux out here at all. Because if I burn the flux out, then I'll just be fighting myself. Add some more flux here. Still pretty hot. Okay, so now comes the stressful part. We're going to drain one last time. Good news is I'm stopping hearing gurgling.
I don't hear any gurgling. Good.
Now I've got to do this with hot pipe. So we take this out here, slide this back, make this so I don't burn myself. It's still super hot. Now I've got to slide this joint here. Without crushing. I don't want to squeeze so hard that I oblong my coupling. So I'm trying to slide it up. It's fighting me. There it goes. See it move?
Yeah.
Now, it's almost a guessing game as to where halfway is. That's the challenge with those. I'm trying to pull the two pipes together, make sure they're as tight as they can. And we will also cheat on this. We're going to try to keep us up at a high point to keep the water back. And you can kind of test the time too to see if your solder's melting, but you're going to see a color change, kind of like a single line almost that takes place. I didn't see it really good there, but it's taking it. Wipe our joint. And as we're wiping this joint, we really don't want to wiggle the joint much because we got to wait for that super shiny to almost go to slightly dull. Sometimes you can see it real good. This is not a great lighting to do it. And that's going to let you know that the solder has congealed, I guess you'd say, or set up. So it's cool enough. And then what I'll do is I'll take this rag and I'll try and wipe as much of that flux while it's still nice and warm and get it off the pipe, because it's the flux on the surface which often will cause that green corrosion down years down the road. I didn't do a great job. I got a little blob of solder on the bottom there of wiping it, but it won't. It's not a structural issue having a half drip of solder coming off the bottom. It just doesn't look as nice. Once it's cooled like it has now, then yeah, the solder is now down to a solid state, and now we will fire up the heating.
I do understand that when it's perpendicular it's shut, and when it's parallel it's on. So I'm thinking.
Yeah, these are right. These are quarter turn valves, and I have both sides because it's a loop, so I have two sides shut off.
This looks like domestic.
That is correct. That is not the. We're looking at the three. So that's a heat.
This one.
And that's the what we call the return, and I know that because
over there
the arrow on the pump is pointing down on the back.
Okay.
And you normally want to put your pumps on the return because the water is a little bit cooler, which means your pump runs a little cooler.
Oh,
I'm not even
okay.
pointing at it. I had the camera. The other thing's back here. So the water is meant to come down this way. Now, if we open it, it will back feed up through there. But up here is a flow check valve, which is designed to only let the water flow that way, which you'll see an arrow on as well. So that's really the way it's designed to feed out to us. So if we open that valve first.
You always do that one first?
And now you don't want to, a quarter turn valve is real easy to just crank right open.
Oh.
But you usually want to go somewhat slow with them. And you should hear it start to flow. Because if you crank it open too quickly, it will, it can build up enough speed, and this is lower pressure, so probably not so much, but it can build up enough speed where that when it hits the
it's like
end,
a hammer.
Yeah, it's like a hammer. Okay, you can go further now. Let's go see if we see anything leaks. Oh crap! I forgot to put the. Go shut that off. I knew I was forgetting something. Can you do me a favor?
Get some rags?
Get a small bucket and the boiler valve. You get a rag on this stuff.
Yeah.
That's by the circulator pump. Hold it under that and open that valve to let the pressure off that's in the line. Because I have pressure from the compressed air. So I take my finger off, it's going to spray out more water. Are you understanding what I'm saying?
I think so.
Do you have a small bucket? Hold it up under the boiler drain. It's like a faucet, right? That you turn like a screw valve. You would hook a garden hose to the end of the thing. You opened it? There's no up in the air. What is up in the air? The one that's the pump that goes down here. Okay. The good news is that it did do something for us. So despite this, it probably pushed a bunch of the air that was in the line right out this hole. which will mean that there's less bleeding to have to deal with. Okay, what were you doing here?
Well, I came in and I thought you were saying this valve to the bottom right, and I'm like, that makes no sense to do anything there. So I emptied that.
Yeah, that's and those are called boiler drains.
Okay, what is this thing?
That is a pressure relief valve that doesn't have its extension like it's supposed to.
Even.
It's blinking.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so let's try this again. So you're gonna slowly turn that on.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna go over there and watch for leaks.
Okay. You can kind of feel it. I'm going for it.
So I'm gonna turn the valve on over the doorway there. Okay, things are looking good so far. So let's open up the other valve in the boiler room and turn the boiler on.
Yeah, the boiler's been on. We need to call for it on that thermostat in that bedroom.
Okay, everyone. So I did not bleed the line, and it does have an auto air bleeder, which is only meant to take out small amounts of air.
Like this thing right here?
No, it's way up on top above the expansion tank.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes you'll hear it let air out. And I'm hopeful that because of our little fiasco, we got enough air out of the system that it's going to circulate, and eventually that'll work the rest of the air out. It's warming up.